Hi everyone, my name is Ali Jahanarai and today I'll be presenting findings from my study with the title of The Double Bind Exploring Teacher Retention in South Carolina Rural Schools. In United States, about 15% of teachers leave each year, but rates are even worse in rural schools because of isolation, weak leadership, and limited resources. South Carolina is one of the hardest hit states with persistent shortages across rural districts. This turnover doesn't just create vacancies, it affects the students directly. Students lose experienced teachers, classes get larger, and research shows student achievement declines in high turnover schools. South Carolina is a unique case. About 40% of students attend rural schools, yet the state has some of the highest turnover rates in the nation. For example, in 2017 and 18, more than 6,000 teachers left their jobs, and in the following year, more than 550 positions remain unfilled. More recently, over 30% of teachers have left after just a year, costing the state up to $59 million annually in training and recruiting new teachers. This problem is most severe in high poverty rural schools. The result is larger classes, hiring less experienced teachers, and reducing student opportunities, particularly for college access programs like advanced placement, which are already limited in rural and minority serving schools. In short, teacher retention in South Carolina isn't just a workforce issue, it directly affects students' educational equity and future opportunities. This study is grounded in Bourdieu's theory of practice, which helped me interpret teacher retention through three lenses: habitus, or teaches professional identities and sense of belonging; second, capital, such as social capital through mentorship; cultural capital through community fit; and economic capital through salaries and resources; and lastly, field, or broader policy and funding environment that shapes rural education. Methodologically, I use a constructivist paradigm and a qualitative case study in two rural South Carolina counties. I interviewed six teachers with varied experiences and analyzed data using a Sladenia two-cycle coding process. This approach allowed me to capture teachers' voices and co-construct meaning, what drives their decisions to stay or leave. For trustworthiness, I use multiple means. For example, triangulation through reflection notes, memos, and literature, member checking with sending transcripts and also themes to participants, and peer reviewing using the help of my principal investigator. Here are five key themes in this study. Leadership and mentoring help teachers feel part of something bigger, but funding gaps and low salaries remain a huge challenge. Culture and community connection often keep teachers rooted, while shortages in special education staff make inclusive education difficult to sustain. And finally, state testing and policy mandates restricts autonomy that creates frustration. Together, these themes show the balance of what keeps teachers in schools and what drives them out. In practice, this means that while social and cultural capital, things like mentoring, supporting leadership, and community ties, help teachers stay, the lack of economic capital, such as competitive salaries and resources, often overrides this positive. Belonging matters, but financial security wins that in the long term. So, what does it mean for policy and practice? First, fair funding and competitive salaries are critical. Rural schools cannot compete with suburban and urban districts when pay and resources are so uneven. Second, loan forgiveness programs must be expanded. Teacher loan program in South Carolina is a start, but service-based cancellation should be stronger to attract and keep teachers in rural areas. Third, special education staffing is an urgent issue. We need state-funded pipelines and co-teaching models, and better preparation to meet the student needs. Fourth, we must rethink accountability. Teachers in my study repeatedly ask for growth-based uh, assessment systems that honor improvement rather than just punishing low scores. Finally, strong leadership and mentorship programs are essential. Principals who build community and foster belonging are the anchor of teacher retention. Taken together, these are not small tweaks, these are systematic changes that could stabilize the rural teacher workforce and improve equity for students. Thank you.